Hello everyone, this is another literacy presentation focusing on how we can support our learners at Holyrood Secondary School. I'm continuing to focus on reading and what we can do to support our learners while we're doing remote learning. Today's presentation is going to be specifically about developing reading skills and promoting reading in general. So when we look at promoting reading, we want our learners to read anything and everything. We often get bogged down with the assumption that they need to be reading high quality literature and constantly extending themselves and their vocabulary. While that's great and we absolutely do want to encourage that, we also need to remember that reading is also for pleasure. For some of our more reluctant readers, if we try and force specific types of novels or books down their throats, it often doesn't go very well and they might disengage from reading entirely. So what we want to do is make sure that we're promoting reading for pleasure, things that they enjoy. Now, this might not be novels, it might not be things that we would necessarily choose for them, but as long as they're enjoying it and they are regularly reading, that's the first step in making sure that they're engaging. It might be graphic novels, it might be informative blogs about a topic that they're interested in, it might be news articles about a football team that they support. Anything at all is a good step in the right direction, particularly for reluctant readers. Now, in my previous video, I showed you how to access the Glasgow Public Library system on the iPads. So all of our first to third year learners already have their logins, and senior phase just need to contact either myself, Ms. Longo, the principal teacher of literacy, or Ms. Kindness, our school librarian, and we can sort that out for them. So if you don't know how to access that, go back and look at the previously literacy video, and that will help you to access this for your child at home. So we want to promote anything at all in reading. When we look at the Glasgow Library Services app, we can see it's divided into lots of categories. So if your child at home is thinking, oh, I don't want this, there's nothing I like on there, maybe sit down with them and start going through it. There's different subject areas you can look at. You can look at nonfiction, for example, if they're more interested in reading information about a specific topic. Try and search with them and see if you can find anything that sparks their interest rather than just having them say point blank there's nothing there for them. So the first thing about developing reading skills is making sure we're just reading as often as possible. That can be something that's modeled at home as well. If mom and dad, grandpa, whoever they stay with is regularly reading, that helps promote a culture of reading in the household. So I encourage you to do it as well. When we're looking at having learners engage with their reading and develop specific skills, there's 4 areas that we want to focus on. So this is the core of a strategy called reciprocal reading, and it has been shown to increase the reading comprehension skills of learners. So there's 4 key skills here: predicting, clarifying, summarizing, and questioning. Now, I'm not suggesting that you sit your child down and you grill them on whatever they're reading. That will take some of the fun away. But what I would think would be helpful is if we can guide our learners towards using these skills a little bit more while they're reading. So when we look at the 4 different skills, it might be that if one of them is if your child at home is reading something, you might just ask them some prediction questions. So what do you think is going to happen next? How do you know that? And it doesn't have to be as like a formal lesson or anything, but just as a part of your conversation. If you see something they're reading and you want to focus on clarifying, and it's something quite difficult, you might ask them, what does that mean? Are there any tricky words here? So again, not about quizzing them, but more just about engaging with them while they're reading. Summarizing is an important skill that focuses on making sure they understand the key points of what they're reading and they're not too worried about extraneous or extra detail. So you might ask them once they've finished reading, so what happened in this chapter? What was the gist of what you read? If they've been reading an article, just show some interest in it, ask what it's about, and that will help them with summarizing, picking out key details. And then questioning is the final skill. So what questions do you have about what you just read? What questions would you ask an expert about this? And then maybe see if they can answer their own questions. So these 4 skills, making predictions about what might happen next, clarifying the meaning of what you've just read, summarizing the key points, and questioning the text, those are 4 key skills that will help develop the reading comprehension skills of our learners. Again, try to make it just a part of conversation, talking about what they're reading, engaging with your child. It doesn't have to be about kind of sitting them down, grilling them, making this seem like it's a part of learning. It's just learning by doing, and it's learning by conversations and learning by reading. So we want to promote that as well. I'll be continuing to do videos like this about how we can engage the literacy skills of our learners during remote learning, and I'm always here for your child if they have any questions about this. I hope this was helpful and you have a great week.